In this podcast episode, Dave Rubin discusses the current political landscape in the United States, focusing on President Joe Biden's cognitive decline and its implications for the 2024 election. He argues that Biden's performance in recent debates and interviews has made it impossible for the media and political establishment to continue covering up his mental state. Rubin believes this has created a chaotic situation where different factions, including Biden himself, his wife Jill, and possibly Barack Obama, are pursuing their own agendas to either push Biden over the finish line or find a way to replace him. Rubin expresses concern about the Democratic Party's willingness to do anything to retain power, including potentially removing the first black female vice president. He contrasts this with the Republican primary process in 2016, which he argues was fair and allowed Donald Trump to win despite establishment opposition. He suggests that the Democrats' focus on power at any cost is dangerous and could lead to significant upheaval in the coming months. The conversation turns to immigration and border security, with Rubin arguing that the current situation at the U.S.-Mexico border is untenable. He cites estimates of 7 to 12 million illegal immigrants entering the country in the past 3 years, and argues that this level of unchecked immigration threatens national security and social cohesion. He contends that a country cannot function properly if it doesn't know who is within its borders, and suggests that the influx of immigrants is straining resources and changing the character of American cities. Rubin draws comparisons to other countries' immigration policies, particularly praising Hungary's approach under Viktor Orban. He argues that every nation has the right to determine its own immigration policies and protect its borders. He also discusses the concept of assimilation, emphasizing the importance of immigrants adopting American values and contributing to society rather than immediately relying on government assistance. Regarding foreign policy, Rubin discusses the ongoing conflicts in Ukraine and Israel. He argues that the situation in Ukraine is complex and likely unwinnable for Ukraine due to Russia's nuclear capabilities. Rubin suggests that a negotiated settlement involving some territorial concessions to Russia may be necessary to end the conflict. On the Israel-Palestine conflict, he strongly supports Israel's right to defend itself and criticizes what he sees as unfair international pressure on Israel to show restraint in its response to Hamas. He argues that no other country would be expected to feed and provide utilities to an enemy that had attacked it and taken hostages. Rubin contends that the core issue is not about Palestinian statehood, but rather a fundamental refusal by Hamas and its supporters to accept Israel's existence. He praises Donald Trump's foreign policy approach, particularly his peace through strength strategy. He cites examples such as moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem and the Abraham Accords as evidence of Trump's effectiveness in the Middle East. Rubin argues that Trump's unpredictability and willingness to use force when necessary deterred adversaries and prevented conflicts from escalating. Throughout the conversation, Rubin criticizes mainstream media and what he sees as a leftist takeover of cultural institutions. He argues that this has led to a distorted narrative on issues like immigration, foreign policy, and domestic politics. He expresses frustration with what he perceives as a lack of honest debate and the demonization of conservative viewpoints. Rubin discusses his own experiences in the media landscape, including his decision to start a tech company called Locals, now merged with Rumble, to provide an alternative platform for content creators outside of big tech control. He emphasizes the importance of having diverse perspectives and the ability to speak freely without fear of censorship or cancellation. Rubin shares some of his personal background, including his family's immigrant history and his experiences growing up in a Jewish community with Holocaust survivors. He uses these experiences to contextualize his views on immigration, assimilation, and the importance of preserving American values. He also discusses his approach to political discourse, acknowledging the value of Steelmanning, opposing arguments but expressing skepticism about its effectiveness in changing minds on deeply entrenched issues. He argues that sometimes it's necessary to take a more assertive stance, particularly when dealing with existential threats or fundamental disagreements about values. The host challenges Rubin on the importance of Steelmanning arguments, suggesting that it's crucial for understanding opposing viewpoints and identifying core disagreements. The host argues that by accurately representing an opponent's position and getting them to confirm that representation, it becomes possible to address fundamental issues rather than getting bogged down in surface-level disagreements. Rubin acknowledges the value of this approach, but expresses concern that it may not be effective in situations of crisis or when dealing with bad faith actors. He cites examples from his interactions with other public intellectuals, suggesting that sometimes a more direct or confrontational approach is necessary to cut through noise and make an impact. The conversation touches on the balance between intellectual rigor and emotional resonance in public discourse. Both Rubin and the host recognize the importance of appealing to people's values and experiences while also presenting logical arguments. The discussion explores the concept of cultural diversity and its relationship to national identity. Rubin argues that while diversity can be a strength, it's essential to have a shared set of values and a common national identity. He expresses concern about the erosion of these shared values in the United States and the potential consequences for social cohesion. He discusses Japan as an example of a country that has maintained a strong national identity while achieving significant cultural and economic success. He acknowledges the potential downsides of such an approach, including accusations of racism, but argues that every nation has the right to determine its own cultural and immigration policies. The conversation touches on the challenges of balancing cultural preservation with openness to new ideas and people. Both Rubin and the host grapple with the complexities of this issue, recognizing that there are no easy answers, but emphasizing the importance of having honest discussions about these topics. Throughout the conversation, Rubin expresses a deep appreciation for American values and the opportunities the country has provided to generations of immigrants, including his own family. He argues that the United States' unique history and founding principles have created a society that, despite its flaws, offers unparalleled freedom and potential for individual success. However, Rubin also expresses concern about the future of the country, particularly in light of what he sees as a growing rejection of these foundational values by some segments of society. He worries that the increasing polarization and erosion of shared national identity could lead to serious social and political upheaval. The conversation concludes with reflections on the importance of engaging in difficult conversations and being willing to challenge prevailing narratives. Both Rubin and the host emphasize the need for individuals to think critically, seek out diverse perspectives, and work towards solutions that preserve the best aspects of American society while addressing its shortcomings. Overall, the discussion with Dave Rubin covers a wide range of complex and controversial topics, offering insights into his political philosophy, concerns about current trends in American society, and vision for the future. While not everyone may agree with Rubin's perspectives, the conversation highlights the importance of open dialogue and the need to grapple with challenging issues facing the United States and the world.